The Lucid Gravity is one of the best electric vehicles you can buy today. It has exceptionally long range, a tremendous amount of passenger and cargo space due to Lucid's efficient packaging. It charges extremely fast, one of the fastest charging electric vehicles you can get today. And the driving dynamics is not what you would expect from an SUV. It drives much more like a car. And I've had multiple Gravity on loan from Lucid and probably driven them somewhere north of 3,000 miles. So I've got a lot of seat time in a Gravity, and I have to tell you, it's a very enjoyable car to drive. However, it has an issue, or should I say it had an issue. The software at launch and to date has been rather glitchy. Every time I've had one on loan, there's been numerous software bugs and glitches. It had a known problem where the key fob wouldn't connect with the vehicle, so you'd have to pick it up and shake it for the vehicle to turn on. Not a premium vehicle experience at all, and Lucid is an expensive premium vehicle. However, less than 48 hours ago, Lucid pushed out an over-the-air update to the Gravity, which apparently has fixed pretty much all of the software bugs and glitches and has also added some new features. So I've invited Lucid's VP of Engineering and Digital, Emad to come on State of Charge here to talk about this software update. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm here today with Emad Dalala, Senior Vice President of Engineering and Digital for Lucid Motors. Emad, thanks for joining me here on State of Charge once again.
Well, thanks, Tom, for hosting me.
So Emad, I talked a little bit in the intro to this video about how the Gravity hit so many of its targets so well. I've driven the Gravity at least 2,000 or 3,000 times now, multiple vehicles. I've charged it so frequently. It does so many things so well. The driving dynamics is outstanding for a SUV. It drives like a car. The range is amazing. I did 400 miles at 70 miles an hour on my highway range test. Very few electric vehicles can go 400 miles at 70 miles an hour, let alone SUVs. And it charges like a beast. It's one of the best DC fast charging electric vehicles you can buy today. And owners and the media have all agreed with that statement. However, pretty much everybody has said that there were some software issues at launch, and those have continued to proliferate. But now with this software update you pushed out, I don't know, about 48 hours ago over the weekend, it's going to the customers. It seems like the vehicle is almost like a new vehicle. Let me take a minute to read. I have two friends that are Gravity owners, and let me read their initial reaction to this software update. My one friend, Michael Roush, sent me a text message, a private message, as soon as the software update came through. And his message was, "Oh my God, Tom, the update I just got on Gravity seems to have fixed everything. Unbelievably different experience." He then posted on X, "Congratulations to the Lucid Motors team." He then tagged Lucid's VP of Communications, Nick Tawak. "Been driving on software update 3.4, super stoked. No glitches. System is much smoother and impressive, way it should be. Car driving wise was amazing from day one. Now my little annoyances with the software are gone." Friend number two, Sip Sadlin. "I'm super impressed with what they've done. It feels like they tore the entire system down and rebuilt it from a new foundation. You can see it in the small details. For example, the home screen no longer has motion tied to smooth, swift, and sprint. The seating page has been simplified for now while they rebuild it properly. This feels like they stripped the software back to basics, rebuilt it the way it should have been from the start. From what I can tell, the steering wheel buttons now work perfectly. And because of that, the hardware no longer feels cheap or broken. When you engage Dream Drive, you click once and it turns on. No repeated button presses. They're also starting to deliver on features that were shown in early demos, like surreal sound menus and thoughtful additions such as transparent vehicle view in the bird's eye camera, which lets you see underneath the car. overall, it finally feels like there's a bright future now that the Gravity is built on a solid software foundation. These are only two customers, but they don't just seem happy about your new latest software update. They seem thrilled about it, like they're driving a new car. Before we get into what all of the features are and the updates you made, because there's so many, we can't possibly get through them all today. The list is ridiculous. My question to you is, what do you say to the people that say, well, this is all well and great, but the car should have launched this way. We shouldn't have had to wait 9 months for it.
Well, a great question, Tom. Of course, I think the aspiration of Lucid really to have a no compromise product. But, knowing the folks in the company on so many fronts from the product side, we can say that the product is excellent in so many ways, and the digital experience wasn't up to the standard that Lucid set from the beginning. Um, you know, during these last several months, we received some criticism about certain aspects of the software. However, what mattered eventually most is that how we address them and listen to customer feedback. As you probably know, we made some key leadership changes here at Lucid where we recognized that the software needs to be the best. And my goal here actually at Lucid is not just to basically ship the minimum level of features and robustness, but also to really make the digital platform and experience one of the best over there.
Okay, that's fair. Listen, I owned a restaurant for many years. We on occasion didn't put out the best food, and I always said it's how you deal with the issues that you have is what really defines your company and your brand. Everybody's going to have issues. Do you correct them as quickly as possible? Do you make good on them? I think that's what really defines the company and shows how you appreciate your customers. So okay, and
Tom,
I was
sorry to, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I was going to say, and it's also important to note, the viewers here might not know that you previously weren't in charge of digital. That's you've gotten moved into this role to take over that aspect, and now it appears like the ship's going in the right direction. I don't want to give you all the credit, but it certainly seems like when the vehicle launched, this wasn't under your responsibility. So, it's hard for me to criticize you, but it doesn't matter who, it's the company, it's the vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we take ownership as a company of the problems and accountability of the consequences. One thing is to realize, of course, I mean, software right now is, a huge aspect of customer experience. It wasn't in the past. And right now, your interactions with the vehicle is largely goes through the digital experience. And sometimes, you build the best foundations from hardware and even software controls, which Lucid is being underrated for in terms of, powertrain controls, chassis, charging. These are also software, right? But, your phone connections, your access control, sometimes if it's not consistent, then you don't offer an ideal experience to the customers, and then you get definitely criticized for such missteps. And we love it or hate it, these experiences matter to our customers, shared really critical feedback with us, and eventually we're moving forward right now to the next phase where the foundation is absolutely solid for us, and it's been solid from the architectural hardware side, right? Lucid Gravity has amazing hardware architecture. It's actually, I mentioned earlier to Kyle Connor and Outsback that Lucid Air was the first one to ship Ethernet gateways, which is really next level communications nodes with all ECUs within the vehicles. So the foundation is there. Right now, we have fixed the issues through over-the-air updates. We didn't need service centers to fix the issues. Right now, the focus is building on top of that with more new features, although we already delivered in the latest update some key cool features to our customers.
Yeah, and Ahmad, you bring up a great point. How and I've talked about how fantastic your driving experiences, the powertrain, and everything on the air as well as the gravity. That was perfected. But the little things like you mentioned can be a big issue. For instance, we also own a Rivian R1S. That's my wife's daily driver, and sometimes the phone as a key doesn't work, and it really hurts her driving experience. She likes the vehicle, but she walks up to the vehicle and the doors don't open, and she gets really frustrated with it. And so you think about how wonderful the vehicle is otherwise, engineering wise, and you guys are probably torn down Rivian vehicles. They make good vehicles also, and but that little thing makes her sometimes not want to drive the vehicle. So that's how important software and the digital experience is today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Especially your direct interactions with the vehicle, which is the access, your nav, your mobile connections to the vehicles. These are basics because traditional vehicles, had them as well. So, of course, when it comes to software-defined vehicles and platforms, there's so many added features, and software ECU packages which over complicate the software integration, the validation, the robustness of that experience. um, you know but I think these are the basics that I must always work.
Yeah. So let's talk about basics. Let's talk about 3.4 now. We'll get down to brass tacks. One of the things that was, in my opinion, in my experience driving it, one of the things that bothered me was the key fob. Sometimes it just wouldn't. You had to pick it up and shake it. Has that problem been eliminated now with
Ye-
3.4?
it has totally been eliminated. So far, our validation, we rolled this software, of course, to our validation fleet. We accumulated more than 40,000 miles before we rolled it out to customers. And then we have rolled it out to our internal Lucid customer fleet, over 50 vehicles in there. And we haven't reported a single issues in terms of key fob not being recognized or access. We're still refining. We're going to keep refining the experience in terms of, let's say, if you lock the vehicle manually, when you, let's say, leave the vehicle and go away, would you expect it to be locking itself or also unlock it manually? Because some people have different preferences. But what if my child is there? What if, there's certain things of that sort that we are refining, and people may comment on them because they expect is still that the software is not ideal. But from robustness point of view, the access control, the key fob always works. The key card also through the NFC reader always works. We haven't seen any issues, and also the forums right now full of comments where they say, everyone's saying it works. As I said, the other aspect also to note is we are going to continue, of course, refining any lingering issues in terms of experiences. That said, I trust what we have done so far makes the vehicle super reliable. I can recommend it to you, not just from a Lucid point of view. I can recommend it to my family. I can recommend it to everyone from access control. Of course, the vehicle is super amazing in many ways. Of course, I should recommend it. But to be honest, sometimes, of course, what we faced in the past is something we needed to reflect on. And the key fob right now works. The battery life also extended by a factor of 10. So that was also a huge improvement. It's a completely new software what we put in the key fob system. It's called access control, basically, unit. And yeah, we're excited, of course, to go to the next level in terms of refining these experiences.
Okay. So before we get into the refinements and improvements, from what I understand, there's a couple of new features that you've added. Could we maybe talk about those?
Yeah, we have a transparent view through the bird's view, surround view monitoring system, where actually the vehicle smartly, usually while it's driving, while it's moving, surveys the area around it and captures that in its memory. So once you turn on bird's view, you can choose the transparent view, and you will see basically the vehicle, the stuff under the vehicle underneath, which is super cool and useful actually if you are doing off-roading, or actually if you are parking the vehicle on tight spots, or you have an edge, or if you have something in the back. It's actually super cool. And the second feature, yeah, the second feature is immersive sounds, where we added an immersive interactions with the sound system to increase both treble, bass, and a mix of all the sound effects together. And it's really making the preferences of sound to a next level.
Okay, I also understand there's a second row easy button.
So that's basically an improvement of the seat movement to access the third row.
Infotainment, from what I understand, everything is snappier, things are working better. There's no false messages, I guess. I know when I had one of the Gravity on loan once, this was months ago, I was getting warning lights on things that I don't even think they were wrong. I think it was just like a false positive. So could you talk a little bit about what you did to improve that?
Yeah, two areas. Some of those were systems behavior that we have to improve. For example, you know, um, sometimes a headlight could be lost for fraction of a second, which no one would notice. It's a normal behavior, and from my experience point of view, would you require the system to share a fault in that instance? And how, of course, we either remove the glitch of that, friction of second, or allow the system to have some gracefulness. So basically, we really looked at system by system, rear wheel steer, the HUD. Many of these actually were actual improvement to the system itself, and many of them is like assessing the system responsiveness. Of course, we still delivered a safe, not just hiding any true positives. Only the false positives were removed and improved elsewhere the system's behavior.
Okay. I was also told that there's improvements to the navigation and routing, which is really important with electric vehicles, especially for people that aren't, say, savvy EV owners that know how to use plug share and, a better route planner and, that just want to use the in-car navigation and EV routing. How did you make improvements there?
We made a few improvements. Basically, first, we reduced the number of visible traffic signs and lights. We had usually a long list of traffic lights ahead of you. They exist, reduced their size so that the experience is much better. We also improved range estimation, through energy consumption change when you are preconditioning, and also added auxiliary power use. Updated logic to correctly reflect the direction of the vehicle on the map, especially when the vehicle at a low speeds, and some consistent map, basically visualization. We also did improve the auto-added charge stops, especially addressing some addresses there that's sometimes not accurate. And finally, we added a charging network brand filters to the list, including PPP Pulse, Circle K, Mercedes-Benz HPC, and Shell Recharge. And yeah, these are the main changes to the nav. We also made some connectivity improvements to the nav system to make it more robust.
Okay. And one of my favorite toppings, from what I understand, there's a lot of charging and energy improvements. I saw something about thermal management improvements and AC charging reliability. Can we talk a little bit about charging?
Yeah, I mean, we keep always, of course, improving almost in every release. We decided this time in this release to be more transparent, to bring confidence to basically our customers. And we enhance it, charging in hot conditions. This related to how we use our AGS, basically active grill shutter, and also fans performance and some derating curves. It's all about collecting data through our fleet, analyze it, and make refinements. And then, of course, we did also improve some of the erratic messages when it says, charging unavailable with the false positives. Improved IC charging reliability through some also algorithms we've done in our Wonderbox. And we also reduce it, or improve it reliability with DC charging. Certain emergency shutdowns sometimes could cause an error messages that are also false positives. We did improve that. We also improved our AC outlet charging behavior and robustness, and increased accuracy of HVAC energy consumption in the energy app. So all these improvements led to a much more refined experience for our customers.
Okay, so with the improvements you made to the thermal management, does that mean that I have to reshoot my charge recordings now because it's going to actually charge even better?
Well, only Tom Olagny would know. But we don't expect huge differences in the charging curve in, let's say, normal conditions. Only in a very hot conditions, if you are at 35, 40, 45 C temperature. But overall, of course, the performance improved, not just, of course, from charging performance, as I said, point of view, reliability, messaging, and few other notifications that led to some errors.
Okay. So, I mean, those are some of the things that I knew about that I wanted to ask you about. Are there other things that, you'd like to talk about that you're proud about with this software update?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our Bluetooth connectivity has improved significantly. The phone connects immediately. You can play, of course, music and so on. And we will keep, of course, additional improvement in the Bluetooth microphone sound quality improvement. In one step, we're going to make additional improvement in the future. We're also working on new features that soon to be rolled out that are in high demand, including CarPlay and Android Auto. We just received a certification of that recently, so this is expected to be somewhere in Q1, Q2 this year. Plus, we keep refining, as I said, some experiences, robustness as we go, and there are, of course, a few other improvements we made with HVAC systems, logic, and of course, as I said, lighting, interior sensors related to occupancy, and some various improvements across infotainment.
Okay. What about phone as a key? I mentioned earlier that it's one of the features my wife loves on her Rivian, but it has to work. Is that something that Gravity owners might get at some point down the
Yes,
road?
for sure this year. I mean, we went through basically a decision to make a digital key as part of the phone as a key experience, because there are many methods how to use digital key doesn't require connectivity, doesn't require Bluetooth, and so on. There's some different ways how to unlock the vehicle through the phone, but it would achieve two things. You can use the phone as an NFC, near field, basically card reader, basically similar to the card, and also as a replacement to the key fob, basically through the ultra wideband connection. Gravity brings two types or three types actually of unlocking mechanisms: Bluetooth, ultra wideband, and the NFC. And when these work so well, It offers this, multiple options how to elect the vehicles. And right now, we achieve it, I would say, two of them, the NFC and, of course, the ultra wideband through the key fob. The digital key is coming third, and then we'll complement the experience fully. And we're going to bring it to customers with high reliability. No longer we're going to have, to deal with annoyances, and our customers, of course, sharing, and experiences that are not ideal.
Okay. Well, listen, I've taken up enough of your time. I know you've got a lot to do. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. From what I've heard, the feedback so far, as I mentioned earlier, customers seem to be extremely happy with this massive update that you've done to the Gravity. They were always happy with the driving dynamics, the range, and the charging, but now it seems like it has the complete package. So maybe I'll have to get in touch with my contacts and get another one on loan and test out the new features that you added sometime soon. But
Um,
thank you. Go ahead.
we're so proud of the team, and we achieved this in a very intense, and high pressure time, is because we needed to address these issues. We knew that that our customers deserve better, but now we look forward to amazing foundation that we built with this change, and better than the best software experience, that we are not going to be content with anything less.
Well, that's good to hear. I've been a big fan of the Air. I'm a big fan of Gravity now. They're two of the best driving electric vehicles that you could buy, and I get to drive them all. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on here with you here today. I said it many times in my videos that I've done on your products. I think you make outstanding products. Continue to do so. Looking forward to the more affordable Lucid, that next gen vehicle that should be coming out at some point soon. But continue to improve the vehicles you have and continue to build that customer foundation base. And I think you guys will be okay. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tom.